Welcome back to the Kane and Day Show. I'm your host, Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Killing Kane and YouTube at Killing Kane. We're going to be breaking down the wild card round this week with our favorite co-host here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll get into the nitty-gritty things after that.
My name is Day. You can find me on Twitter, Realdaygaming1. Follow the show on Twitter, the Kane and Day Show.
Do it. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, we were active.
We live tweeted the entire Bills game.
We sure did. But if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Also, hit that bell notification so you know when our videos go live so you can be first to watch. What are we talking about this week?
Well, super wild card weekend.
Super wild card weekend. It was weird.
They called it.
It was weird having 2, 3, and Monday night. Wasn't prepared for the Monday nighter. I know they paid a lot of money to keep it there. But, I mean, overall, really good weekend of football.
I'd say
really good. Chaos.
Like 85 out of 100.
So, chaos ensued a lot. But, first game that we're going to dive into is the Seahawks 49ers game. Very close at half. It was very close.
It was 17-16, and my money was scared, let me tell you.
And,
I was scared.
I didn't have hope. There's a lot of things that went wrong during the Seahawks game. Personally, for me, won't get into that. But I watched about half the game. I was a little excited before halftime. I still wasn't like, oh my God, they're going to do this. Because it's the 49ers. Let's be honest. One of the better teams in the NFL, even with a third-string quarterback.
But you had to play him 3 times.
That's true.
Anything can happen in that third game. We saw that twice this weekend.
We sure did.
Anything can happen third time you see him.
But all in all, the 49ers came away with it all. And, 41-23, it's a big score. Let's jump into the stats real quick. Geno didn't play absolutely terrible. He didn't play absolutely great. He played Geno Smith ball. 25 for 35. The completion side was there. 253 yards. That's good. 2 touchdowns. Threw a pick, though. It's not great. Kenneth Walker didn't have a bad playoff debut either. 15 for 63 with a touchdown. You can see his vision improving constantly. That's one of the big things that I've taken away from Kenneth Walker's year. Is before he was so hesitant at the line, trying to just wait for a pocket to open up. And now he's just, as soon as he gets the ball, head down, just go. And it's working out for him. He really had a lot of plays where I was like, that was really smart. I believe it was the touchdown where he broke outside off a key block, ran it up the sideline for, I think
it was 25.
Yeah, something like that. It was a great run. And I said this going into the game. I said, if you're going to have any chance in this game, DK Metcalf has to pop off. And guess what? DK Metcalf arrived.
He played well.
10 for 136, and then your next highest receiver was at 39. DK Metcalf was all over the field. It was fantastic.
I mean, out of 35 attempts, he had 13 targets. That's almost half.
Right.
There.
And so
it's kind of hard to get the ball to somebody else when half the throws are going to one guy.
That's true. It just wasn't a well put together game. And the
first half was.
It was. And then then
the weather got better.
Yeah, they fell apart. Pete Carroll didn't really mind that they lost. I don't know if a lot of people really cared, in the locker room. Yeah, it sucks to lose in the playoffs, but I don't think, a lot of people expected them to be there this year.
Right. Especially with the backup court. Well, not backup, but not Russell.
Right, and I'm not gonna downplay. Geno had a good year. He did.
Yeah, he did. Overall, yeah.
He was top in completion, which that's really good to see. He didn't throw that many picks. He threw for a lot of yards. He threw for quite a bit of touchdowns, too. So you compare to how Russell Wilson's season was to Geno Smith. Geno Smith was by far the better quarterback. So it's good to see as a Seahawks fan. I have more faith in the future. I still do think that they need to go take a quarterback in this draft. They need to. They need to get the future set now. And I think there's so much talent at the quarterback position this year that they're not going to miss. But knowing how they draft, they're not going to draft a quarterback. That's just not who they are. It's not who Pete Carroll and John Schneider are. But let's jump over to the 49ers side. And this was a team littered with just superstar games. Like, everybody had a career playoff game, it seemed like. Let's see. Brock Purdy, 18 for 30, 332 with 3 touchdowns. Dude balled out. Like, this is why, like, I was tweeting during the game, and I said, don't even look back. Don't look at Trey Lance next year. Exactly. Like, Brock Purdy, I know this is a plug system, right? All they need is to plug a person. Brock Purdy is undefeated.
Nah, I still remember that game. Jimmy Garoppolo came in when Trey Lance got hurt. 49ers
Right.
looked rough with him, and man, did they squash the Seahawks in Santa Clara that weekend.
They sure did. But here's
It was
the
a different
thing.
game.
Brock Purdy is undefeated as a starter.
6-0.
He's thrown, what, 2, 3 picks?
One.
1?
I believe it was one against the
And
Raiders.
here's another thing. First quarterback, rookie quarterback to beat Tom Brady.
I said he's got 4. He's got 4.
Not bad. How many touchdowns does he have?
13.
It's also not bad. I mean, small sample size. I think if you put Brock Purdy in this system for a whole offseason where he's the primary guy on the field, you're going to see a better 49ers team next year.
Yeah.
If everybody can stay healthy. Not to mention another amazing playoff game. Christian McCaffrey, 15 for 119. It's a guy that I was like, hey, got to stop him if you want to win. It's a guy you got to stop. Christian McCaffrey's too good.
Him, but then hope Debo and Brandon don't hurt you.
And Debo sure did. So did Brandon.
Yep. Brandon.
I will say this: Debo Samuel is the hardest person to tackle in the NFL.
That's true.
He broke so many tackles for big runs or big yards. Dude was insane. I mean, Debo had 32 yards on the ground, averaged 10 per carry. That's 30 yards. Doesn't matter. 10 per carry. Debo Samuel also 6 for 133. Brandon Ayuk 3 for 73. And Ayuk was part of those big, momentum first downs. He was getting them in bunches. It seemed like every time he caught the ball, it was for 20 plus yards, and it was a first down in a critical situation. Every time.
Yeah.
I think this 49ers team is really, really good. Their defense, stout. Nick Bosa and Fred Warner are absolutely terrifying to see. And not to mention, you had Eric Armstead in the mix. Tashawn Gibson making big stops. This is a guy was on the practice squad at the beginning of the year, and now he's your starting safety. It's crazy. This team is really talented. Anything else you'd like to add about this game?
No, outside of the fact that it was a tale of two halves, and the one where you made all the money, Seahawks didn't play as well as they did in the first half. It's like they almost gave too much, but it was a good game. For me, at least.
I'm going to let you bring in this next one.
I don't want to.
This one hits a little...
Well, this one was very tough for me, because I did actually take Jacksonville. So when I saw them go down 27-0, my money was scared.
But you personally were like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And then then they decided to be
Forget
The
how to play
Chargers.
football, Forget how to play football. Yeah, the wheels fell off. I knew it when it was 30-20. I knew the game was over.
It just shocked me because you saw the first half of Trevor Lawrence.
Well, the one pick was a PI that was not called.
Right, but 4 picks still.
Yep, 4 picks.
4 picks.
Half. That was ugly.
Well,
it was ugly.
Let's start with the baby goat first, since that's the losing team. 25 for 43. You want to see the completions a little bit better, but here's the big thing: they didn't have Mike Williams, and I think that was the
Did not.
It was the big difference maker. Because if you have Mike Williams on that team over the
50.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. It's just that second half. I don't know what adjustments they really made on the Jacksonville side, but it worked. I don't know what it was, but it worked.
That's true.
And because Justin Herbert had no problem throwing the ball.
No,
I don't think I could pull up first half stats for him quickly, but I mean Austin Eckler had 35 total yards running.
Yeah, and that's
a problem.
That's a big red flag. And this is stuff that I saw throughout the weekend too. It says, they're saying, you have a dude in the backfield that is top 5.
And he had 43 total yards.
This is your best player on your team.
He nearly led the league in touchdowns.
Yeah.
And was just nowhere to be found. Like I said, it's just the plays they were running in the second half too were really bad. Where it's just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Even if you're running the ball, that takes what, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
When you go 3 and out.
Yeah, about that.
Jacksonville so much time.
Yeah,
and to have the ball. And Trevor balled. That's all it was.
It was, and on the offense or on the receiving side, I mean, this was the big shocker of probably the whole game is Gerald Everett led the team in receiving yards.
Well, when you're gonna double Keenan every play,
and Keenan made some
Joshua Palmer.
Keenan made some big time snags.
He made some nice catches.
Sure did.
Nice catches.
And you had Asante Samuel Jr. having the historical 3 picks, huge game for him. And then who got the 4th one?
What really threw the game was the unsportsmanlike from Bosa. That got him benched.
So,
because technically it wasn't an ejection, he just got benched.
So
it was a temper tantrum, is what it was.
It was. He was mad that he didn't get a holding call.
Well, that same lineman also jumped.
And
it was a false start on top of a hold, and he had a temper tantrum.
And here's the one thing though, he did that, but I also saw a clip of him walking away from the whole situation, just bitching himself out, and the ref was right in his pocket, flipped around, said some words, and threw the flag. So
he's got to be better in that scenario. Because that ended up being a 2-point conversion touchdown.
And that you're not wrong. He does need to control his temper a little bit. I mean, look at Nick Bosa. Him and Joey are night and day.
That's true. One can stay healthy and one can't.
Also
one
true.
has a temper problem.
But the big thing is the refs need to do better. You don't go chasing a player that's fumed, because you're gonna get an easy call and nobody can argue it because Joey was being an asshole.
I mean, if they just play defense, they never put themselves in that scenario.
That's true. Let's jump over to the Jack side. Trevor Lawrence, 28 for 47, 288, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Travis Etienne, fantastic game, 20 for 109. Big thing is, you got to get somebody else running too. You really, really have to have a second back in there, because Travis Etienne is going to get hurt with you running him like that. And you can't have this in the playoffs. And this is why you need, I think they have Jermichael Hasty as their backup too. Didn't even start.
Didn't even get an attempt. Yeah.
These are big numbers from your 3 big signings off of the year though. Evan Ingram, 7 for 93.
It was a huge game.
Christian Kirk, 8 for 78 and a touchdown. Zay Jones on fucking food stamps. You got Zay Jones on food stamps. 8 for 74 and a touchdown. Marvin Jones, 3 for 29 and a touchdown. This is the ultimate Evan Ingram 4 or 5 year deal to play the rest of his time in Jacksonville.
You hope.
Because he had a phenomenal year with this team. Give him one more offseason. Give him one more offseason, and this offense is going to look refined. Doug Peterson is going to get this shit on lock.
That's probably true.
And Evan needs to come back after this year. They have something special brewing down there, and this team is going to be scary.
Who knows? Maybe he wants to be a part of it.
I think
He's willing to be a part of it.
I think he is. I think he will be. Let's jump to the game we live tweeted. Whoop, 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 whoop. Look out, we might do it again this weekend if we have time. Dolphins Bills got interesting.
Oh, it did.
Very, very interesting. And it wasn't because of Miami's offense.
No, it was not.
Because their offense was abysmal. Here we'll go through the stats and we'll discuss a little bit. Skylar Thompson threw the ball 45 times.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
45 times.
No, I see the completions. I didn't realize it was that
Completed 18 for 220.
A lot of those passes weren't close either. Like, they just weren't close.
No. Jeffrey Wilson, 23 yards. Can't have
He
it.
did miss some time during that game, though, with an injury.
Yeah.
He did come back, but...
Nobody ran the ball well.
No. Well, they didn't have Mostert.
No, they didn't.
Basically just Jeff Wilson, and then he got hurt.
And then Ahmed came in for a couple, but
yeah,
didn't do a whole lot. Tyreek Hill, 7 for 69. Ahmed was great on the receiving side, 3 for 45. But here's my big thing. Jalen Waddle, where were you?
I think that drop, first target of the game for him, was bad.
Yeah.
Wide open touchdown.
Yeah. Where were you?
Doubled.
Where did he go to
They
college?
targeted him like Alabama.
How many times did he make it to the college football playoffs?
Oh, he didn't. I'm pretty sure he won the Heisman. That was Devonta Smith.
How many times did he make it to college football playoffs, you think?
4.
Exactly.
Or 3.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's been to the college football playoffs. He knows the atmosphere. He should know. Here's the thing.
He won a title.
Yeah. Here's the
He's
thing.
played in a big game.
Here's the thing. Where are you?
I mean, we both sat there and watched this game.
It was brutal.
Those passes were bad. Those passes were bad.
It was really bad. And I said this the entire time that we were chatting. I said if Tua's here, it's a different game.
That's true, but he was not.
He was not. I even said if Teddy was in this game, it's different.
They had a chance. I don't think they win with Teddy, but they had a legitimate chance to win.
But their defense balled out. Oh man.
Chubb strip sack, love that.
Yeah. You also
felt the pressure.
Jason Sanders was perfect on the day. You saw some pretty decent returns from them.
They did set themselves up for success, and they failed.
They sure did.
Horribly.
But
they were winning 24-20.
Let's jump over to Joshy Boy, who did not disappoint.
Picking in there. That's so funny.
23 for 39, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
I like that Josh Allen didn't really run the ball.
I loved it because
they had designed runs and they worked somewhat. But I just like that he is not running. He learned.
Devin Singletary looked pretty decent.
That too.
Running the ball. James Cook broke off some shiesty plays.
Yeah, they actually ran the ball very well.
And then let's just... When Gabe Davis arrives, this team does not lose. They had 3 dudes play amazing. I mean...
And they all made incredible catches at some point in that game.
I'm going
Their
to...
catch of the year.
Where he threw it to Dawson?
The Stephon one was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Well, let's just go to the first touchdown, where Josh Allen throws an absolute laser to Dawson Knox.
It was the perfect throw. It was a highly skilled catch, and it was a perfectly defended play. You couldn't have asked for a better play overall.
And then you had I think his name is Khalil Shakir. He had, I believe it was this game, where he caught it, bobbled it, and caught it again for like 20-something yards. He was like laying out backwards for it. We may have not been paying attention, but I remember it.
Probably true.
But you had Gabe Davis, phenomenal game. Stephon Diggs, phenomenal game. Cole Beasley was productive. This is a great game out of this team overall. You had dudes stepping up left and right. They were not losing that game. Hell no. We said it before the game even started that this is a game they can't lose. It's a game they can't lose for DeMar. And they showed up. And their defense really showed up at key times, too.
Yeah.
So,
especially on that last drive where the Dolphins had a chance.
They sure did.
Very small chance. I think Tyler Huntley had a better chance. But, you lose some, you lose most.
So now we're going to go to a team that was exposed over the weekend. The New York Football Giants. They beat the Fraud Vikings.
I mean, the last time, a couple weeks ago, that the Football Giants were in Minnesota, they lost to a 62-yard field goal. That's what beat them.
That's true.
They were there. They blew a lead.
And
they did not blow this lead.
So, Kirk Cousins, shocker, fraud. Fraud. His stats, when you look at it, they aren't bad. But I'm not saying that his stats are ever bad. Wow. His decision making is terrible.
4th and 8 with your season on the line.
And you throw it 3 yards.
He threw his gender reveal ball farther.
Bro, if you look at the play, you have a little hole in the pocket that you could have stepped through. And you run for a first down.
Check down.
And you threw a check down on 4th and fucking 8. Are you kidding me?
Great job. Justin Jefferson really did well. And when I say that, I mean that sarcastically because he had about 40 in the first half and 0 in the second half.
And the person that really popped off for him was TJ. TJ had a fantastic game. 10 for 129. That's great. Guess what? Here's another team that didn't run Alexander Madison. They haven't had success in the run really all year long. It seems like they've been more successful on the passing side. But when you're Dalvin Cook and you're one of the best backs in the league and you stayed healthy all year and you only run for 60 fucking yards?
Oh, yeah.
You kidding me? Come on, head coach.
It's a really good division they play in.
I mean, it was shaping up that way with the Lions.
They actually might be the pick to win the division next year, but that's a different topic for a different day.
That's true. I'll buy that. I will buy that.
I've been seeing people sip the Kool-Aid.
But overall, this team needed to be better. It's just I
I'm
cannot.
not knocking the Giants either. They played a very tough division. 3 out of the 4 teams made the playoffs.
Almost all 4 teams made the playoffs.
The Commanders were there until the 17th week.
Yeah, that's scary how good that division is. But we'll talk about that at a different day. It just 4th and 8, you throw 3 fucking yards, somebody had to be open down the field. Somebody's gonna run around like a chicken with their head cut off trying to get the ball.
Just throw it. At that
Season's
point.
on the line.
You're gonna check it down. You might as well just throw it somewhere and hope.
Yeah. Daniel Jones had a phenomenal game.
He did. So did Saquon.
24 for 35, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also led the team in rushing, which I'm pretty sure he threw one of the nastiest stiff arms out there. Pretty gross. Saquon went 9 for 53 with 2 touchdowns. When Saquon is healthy, this team is going to be terrifying, and they're going to bring Daniel back on a long-term deal.
That spin move that Saquon was showcasing, there was 3 vividly that I remember. And man, is that just disgusting. That's like a video game spin move. He cut so hard. It's just incredible to watch.
You know,
it's nice to have him back.
One of my big things about loving Saquon, Darius Slayton dropped a ball that was key to the game. Big first down, dropped the ball. He's so visibly frustrated on the sideline, just having a fit about it. Saquon comes over and gives him, "You're all right. You're all right. Let's stay in this. Let's go." Like, Saquon is such a leader. It's scary. And, let's go to, this is where players shine in the postseason. Isaiah Hodgins.
Out of nowhere.
8 for 105 and a touchdown. Darius Slayton, 4 for 88. Saquon, 5 for 56. So on the day, he had 100 yards. He was fantastic. Guess whose name you don't see on here, though?
Wait. His name might not be on there, but he has as many pancake blocks as he does touchdowns. Because, man, was that block great. He pushed that guy 5 yards back. That was incredible.
But Kenny Galladay did not get a single target in this game.
No, he didn't.
Shocker.
But he was out there. Like I said, that pancake block. You should look for it on Twitter. It was great.
I think I saw it, but overall, don't count these Giants out. I mean, it's gonna be.
You have to go to Philadelphia.
That is true.
Godspeed.
I also put out
again. It's another team playing a division rival for the 3rd time this year. Anything can happen. I would not be shocked if they go in there and beat the Eagles. I wouldn't be shocked.
I agree.
That's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. That'd be good for them, not for me.
That's true.
Let's jump over to the Sunday night game where it was Bengals and Ravens.
Real barn burner, 10-9 at halftime.
Oh,
I'm glad I missed the second quarter.
It was just not a good game. It wasn't.
It put me to sleep, if that helps you out.
Tyler Huntley did not, I don't know how much you can do on a team that really doesn't care. And
I don't think it's that. I think the play calling, John Harbaugh is very aggressive.
And I think the only person that can really translate it is Lamar. Does Lamar come back, though? Probably not.
Nope.
They've burned the bridge. Or he burned the bridge.
I don't think he was going to go back regardless if he got hurt or not. But that's just me.
That's fair. Tyler Huntley didn't have the best day, and 17 for 29, 226, 2 touchdowns and interception. And then you go to the running side. J.K. Dobbins, when he was...
Well, you did miss his massive fumble lost.
Oh, yeah, I did. I actually saw that. I had it on my computer, but me and the wife were watching something. But I kept checking the game. Sam Hubbard did get a fumble for 98 yards. That dude is slow.
They missed a block in the back. That's neither here or there. We saw the officiating the last couple weeks be really good, but throw that fumble lost in there.
Yeah,
they lost him the game.
It did.
Well, their decision making also did, but
Well, and I'll get to that here in a second. You had J.K. Dobbins 13 for 62 and Tyler Huntley 9 for 54. J.K. Dobbins was very vocal after the game, and he said, "Why aren't you giving me the ball? I'm gonna score. Give me the ball. Let's win." And he also threw in there, if we had Lamar, we would have won.
That's a knee-jerk reaction to just losing a playoff game.
That's true, and it's not. Trust me, not the right thing to say.
No, it is not. Their PR was running in circles.
Because Tyler Huntley played his heart out. He really did. He wanted to win, and try to hopefully get Lamar back. Probably wasn't gonna happen, but he wanted to win to show the city of Baltimore that they can win without Lamar. And when Lamar comes back, it's just that much better.
I don't think the coaching staff wanted to win this game, to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
Because, I saw last night the Dallas Cowboys ran in a very effective 2-minute drill. They were up by 12.
They were up by a lot.
It was 12-0, right? And they ran an efficient 2-minute drill. I think it took 7 plays from the 2-minute warning on. They scored, right?
Yeah.
This is 2 minutes to go. Your season's on the line, and you need a touchdown. Obviously, you have Justin Tucker, so you're not missing the field goal if you go for it, or the extra point.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes to go, and you're still huddling? They got it down to 45 seconds, and they only ran 3 plays. What kind of hurt with the clock running?
Yeah,
and they're doing plays with motion in it, and it's just the decision making was just questionable.
It was piss
from the
poor.
coaching staff.
And
I've never seen a 2-minute drill ran so slow.
No,
With your season on the line, you're down. You're not tied. You're down. It was bad.
Right, and plus, it's really bad when your number one receiver week in week out is tight end. Like they don't.
I thought it was the Lions last year, but
they really don't care about giving their quarterback that they say they want back receivers. Haven't done it the entire time he's been there, and the one receiver they got him, they traded him away.
That's true.
He wanted out. He didn't want to be there.
That's why I don't see Lamar going back.
Exactly. But let's go over to the Bengals side, which wasn't much better, to be honest.
It was not. Their defense played well,
but
you
almost got a Jamar masterclass. He was fantastic. Joe Burrow, though, 209, 1 touchdown. Joe Mixon did not run the ball well. It's very tough to see. But that defensive front is really good for the Ravens.
When you just played them last week.
Right.
They had an entire week to see what they did wrong and literally just adjust. They had a week to adjust. Not 15 minutes at halftime. They had a whole week to adjust.
Right.
And fix it, and they did. That's why they had a chance to win at the end of the game.
Right. And then, Jamar on this end, 9 for 84 and a touchdown. He played fantastic. He was everywhere. But other than that, it's just this team's got to do better next week. Because who are they playing?
Buffalo.
Yeah. It's a tall order. Josh Allen's not taking a loss.
Not in Orchard Park.
No, he's not.
Maybe at Paycor, but not at Orchard Park.
But yeah, this game, I expected it to be more of a blowout type thing, just because you're in the playoffs now. I thought Joe Burrow was going to get the ball out a little more, but he did not.
Not with them playing each other a week, back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
I felt like it was going to be a close game.
So let's jump to Monday night's game. And I texted this to you last night when they were down by 20. And I said, this team really suffers not having BA on the sideline, coaching that team.
Todd Bowles is not the coach for that team.
No,
he only lasted 4 years in New Jersey.
He is not. He's a defensive coach. When you have Tom Brady, you gotta have the most offensive thing possible because it's Tom Brady. I get it. He is 45. Tom did not look good last night at all. I was sitting here. I watched, I think, until halftime.
That Cowboy defense, it is good, though.
It is good, but you saw him making terrible decisions. He
didn't have time to do anything.
There was a play where his tight end ran a long, or it was like a streak curl. So he ran, I want to say like 25 yards down the field, did a curl, had him wide open, and then you saw Tom Brady throw it over the middle where a defender was just standing there. Almost threw a pick. Not to mention he threw a pick in the end zone.
He did. On 2nd and goal from the 5.
And
first drive of the game for them.
Yeah, and Tom also was underthrowing. It was hitting the grass before. Like, I get he didn't have much time. Micah Parsons was running him down, and Tom got it out right before Micah just blasted him. And credit to Micah for just slowing up and giving him a little push, because, like, most people are just going to blow him up. But yeah, it's crazy though. He still threw 66 times. You threw 66 times on a 45-year-old man's arm? It's wild.
Well, when you find yourself down 18-0 at halftime and you have essentially no running game to begin with.
Also, Leonard Fournette should not be on this team next year for wearing that hoodie. He put it in the universe because he put on he was wearing his playoff Lenny hoodie, and it's like, bro, you can't put that in the universe. Come on now. But also 5 for 11, not it, Chief.
They can't run the ball. That team is not built to
they've
score fast.
They've never had a good running back in the last 10 years.
No. They haven't.
Like, they were trying to fill a hole of Ronald Jones when he was your best rusher in the past 5 years. I mean, he had 1,000 yards, I want to say 2 years ago. Crazy.
I mean, Leonard Fournette played well the year they won the Super Bowl. That was about it. And he played well in Jacksonville.
That's true.
About it.
The receiving side, Chris Godwin, 10 for 85, and this is a name I love to see. Julio Jones, 7 for 74 and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 6 for 74. Washington's own Cade Otton, 4 for 58. On the passing side, it was there, but the Cowboys are just...
Age is okay. That's also key. That was sad to see with 2.5 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what...
Have movement.
That was terrifying to see.
Well, I saw his head snap forward and then snap back, and then he kind of looked up, and then he laid back down. He couldn't move from his shoulders. He just lifted his neck up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, God. They brought the stretcher out, and I'm like, 2.5 minutes left. You're 2.5 minutes from your season over, effectively.
Yeah.
And you get... I was obviously thinking the worst when I saw that replay, and I'm like, you get paralyzed. 2.5 minutes. That's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't even like it was a close game. They were getting blown out at home.
Yeah.
They had already been booed. They were booed in the first half.
And I'll tell you why. Because Dak showed up to play. And
Dak had a turnover-free game.
I was talking to my dad earlier today, and we were talking about the Cowboys. And he's like, oh, something about the Cowboys. And I was like, no. The only reason they won is because Dak showed up. I mean, 305, 4 touchdowns, huge. Tony Pollard had a huge game, 15 for 77.
He was non-existent.
He wasn't. No, he was not, and it's not good for the contract he signed. This is what I do love to see, though. Dalton Schultz, 7 for 95 yards. He was the leading receiver.
Yeah, you know why?
Because he was left wide the fuck open.
No, because fantasy is over. And I don't get points for him anymore.
That's true.
He's going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. Watch it.
CD
Watch it that way.
had a good game. Michael Gallup had some pretty good,
T.Y. Hilton did too.
Yeah. The controversial call for the touchdown for Gallup where he was out of bounds, but they
I missed
recalled it because the defender touched the ball first, going through his hands, and he caught it, so they ruled it a touchdown. Overall, it's a great game. I mean, you've said it for many weeks on here, is if Dak shows up, this team's going to win.
Well,
and
I mean, it is like that for a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
Specifically for Dak, and even you could throw Josh Allen in there this year. If they play well and turn over free ball, they most likely win the game.
I agree.
Except for like the Lions game on Thanksgiving, where the Lions still almost beat them. But
it's neither here nor there. But it was a good weekend of football. Going up against this, you guys may have seen this, you may not have seen this, but I was feeling a little frisky yesterday, so I opened up Twitter and I saw a video from it's Good Morning Football, I believe. I think you know the show I'm talking about. One of their personalities said that they think that the 49ers are the scariest team in the world. And I was like, well, I guess, you forget about the Eagles. And I got so much hate for that, guys. It was funny.
Comical for me.
It was very funny, but I said I didn't say anything factually wrong. I said, well, I guess people are just forgetting that the Eagles exist. And then I got a whole did you see their game last week? Well, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts is also coming back from a shoulder injury. So expect a lot more to happen. And they're right there with the 49ers, to be honest, offensively and defensively. So if those teams meet up in the NFC Championship, it's going to be a bloodbath, or it's whoever scores first.
I think it's going to be the second one, but we have to get to there first.
That's
true. The Cowboys
true.
have to lose, and the Giants have to also lose.
And, it's going to be hard going to Santa Clara. It's going to be hard going to Philly. It's going to be a good matchup on the weekends. So we might do another live tweeting thing. I don't know. Just depends if our schedules line up or not.
I didn't see the schedule yet.
But we'll just look for an announcement on Twitter or whatnot. And speaking of Twitter, I think that's going to be the end of the show today. Well, you can find me, Killing Kane, at YouTube and Twitter at Killing Kane. Go ahead, tell them where they can find you, Ben.
On Twitter, it's Realdaygaming1, and then the show's Twitter is the Kane and Day Show.
Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave a like on the video. And what was your thoughts from Super Wild Card Weekend? Let us know in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. But I think if you're listening over on Spotify, go ahead and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us at
questions on Spotify. I found that out today. You could do that.
Do it. We'll answer them.
Shout out Summer H, who commented on one of our podcast episodes on Spotify. It really rattled me because I didn't think that was possible.
There we go. Anyway, guys, I'm Kane, and this is Day, and we'll talk to you guys next time.